I made a video on my review of the Owl House season 1. In it, I kind of made fun of my original idea for that video where I was gonna be like, is the Owl House a magical girl show, and go on some spiel, whatever. It ended up being a regular review. But I got some comments on that video of people explaining that no, it's not a magical girl show, it's actually something else. That kind of blew my mind because the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, well, of course this is a magical girl show. She uses magic and there's this and that happens. And I kind of forgot about it until IU of the Sparkle Side Chats podcast asked on Twitter whether or not Powerpuff Girls and Totally Spies qualify as magical girl shows. Girl, the multitude of differing opinions I scrolled through. You know, this whole time I never really realized how much of a matter of opinion it is what qualifies as a magical girl show versus what doesn't. So I wanted to discuss this with you guys. What defines a magical girl show? First thing we should do is go to the internet, right? Because the internet knows everything and is always right. Our top 2 search results on Google are Wikipedia and tvtropes.org. Great start. Promising. So Wikipedia, whose sources for this definition are 2 different journalists from 2 different articles, says it is a subgenre of Japanese fantasy media including anime, manga, light novels, and live-action media centered around young girls who possess magical abilities which they typically use through an ideal alter ego into which they can transform. The Wikipedia page then goes on to list some of the common themes in these shows, which includes femininity, friendship, and heroism. Simple enough. The Wikipedia page seems to focus a decent amount on the cultural impact of this particular genre. It mentions merchandise sales and how the boom of these shows, particularly Sailor Moon in the 90s, directly coincided with the girl power movement that was going on in the West at that time. TV Tropes is a little bit different in its approach of the definition because it, of course, discusses it as a trope in the context of its media. They say magical girls are empowered by various means with fantastic powers that both assist and complicate their lives but manage to persevere despite this. Not sure I entirely agree with the despite part, but in any case, they kind of break it down into the different subgenres because not all magical girls are created equal. They said the common subgenres are cute witch, magical idol singer, magical girl genre deconstruction, and magical girl warrior. They even said the present day broader categories include 2 of the ones I just mentioned, plus a category called neoclassical. Like what? I'd never heard that term before. And I totally understand this classification here. A lot of my favorites fit into this neoclassical subgenre, including Ojimadra Doremi and Cardcaptor Sakura. You see, the thing is, none of these definitions from these sites are wrong. They're just different ways of saying pretty much the same thing. But then if none of these definitions are wrong, then why would there even be discourse on what is or isn't a magical girl show, right? The subjectivity of the magical girl genre. We arrive again at the crossroads of subjectivity, except this time it's not about colors. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that X show is a magical girl show. That's not what I want this video to be. But I want to kind of dissect the reasonings behind some of these claims, etc. And I am in no way an expert in the magical girl field of magical girlology. I think I have made it abundantly clear in some of my other videos that I'm not even done watching all of Pretty Cure yet. But I am an avid enjoyer, and I have been for most of my life. But if there is one show where I could say that I have at least a little bit of useless knowledge about, it would be the Powerpuff Girls. Powerpuff Girls is like an enigma. It's not like a classic Marvel, DC superhero type show, but it is a show about superheroes. It's a show built around 3 little girls fighting crime in a team effort, and it had early influence coming from anime and Japanese action movies, but it's not an anime, obviously. Here's the thing, the girls possess superpowers, right? You could call these magical abilities. They don't have alter egos, nor do they transform, but the show has messages of femininity, family, heroism, and great comedy, among other things. And these powers complicate their lives to some degree, especially in that origin movie, that theatrical release in 2003. So with all of this, which part is most important in determining whether a show is a magical girl show or not? Must a show have every component present from the written definition, or is 1 or 2 not enough? And which parts of this definition hold the most weight? I think it's worth mentioning that the original Powerpuff Girls had enough magical girl quality that Powerpuff Girls Z was sought out and created. And that counts for something. I'm just saying. And right now, this is totally just my opinion, but my heart wants to call it a magical girl show. Why, you may ask? just because. No particular strong opinion on it. It just makes me happy to call it that. No notes. The Owl House is a totally different story though. I am still watching it currently. I'm in the middle of season 2, so it's still new to me, still experiencing it. Like I said in my season 1 review video, someone explained to me that it's less of a magical girl show and more of an isekai. Not knowing what this is as a total plebeian, I read that it's a genre where a character or characters are transported into this fantasy or parallel world and their adventures through that displacement. By the way, the Wikipedia page for isekai had a see also note that had Space Jam linked, and I could not get over that. No words. But like, oh yeah, that's exactly what the Owl House is, word for word. But it can also be considered a magical girl show, right? Luz is a magical girl. She doesn't have magical abilities, but she's learning to create magic. You know who else was learning to do magic? Doreimani, okay? Doreimani and the gang don't just have magical powers, okay? They don't shoot lasers from their hands. They don't have special attacks. They're learning to use magic using special instruments, aka their wands. The magical powers have never really had to be something that you were born with or that you inherently acquired and that you now possess. Not only that, but Luz's desire to become a witch and learn how to do magic has complicated her life. Does Luz transform? No, she doesn't. But neither does Sakura, and Cardcaptor Sakura is one of those staple magical girl anime. What did TV tropes call it? Neoclassical? Is the Owl House sort of a neoclassical magical girl show? Anyway, all of this to say maybe this is more subjective than it may seem, or at least more than what I thought it was. Maybe it's a feeling that you get when you watch a show. That feeling that anything's possible and even an ordinary girl can become something greater than what she's aware she's capable of. I definitely don't want to write off any existing definitions that are more detailed than what I ran into, but I think it's kind of fun how the answers for what a magical girl show is differ between people. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know. After the passionate responses from the Pretty Color Debate video, I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this. As I finish the Owl House season 2, that video is coming next. I also wanted to ask you guys what your opinions are on reactions, because I just did the Winx video last week and that was actually not bad as far as like filming a reaction. I was considering doing reactions for specific shows. I don't want to give one of them away yet, but I was thinking of doing a reaction to Otona Pretty Cure when that comes out later this year. Some other shows that I haven't seen. I was wondering what your opinions are on reactions on the channel. Let me know if that's something that you're into, or if you'd rather just have like video essay type deals, because two different things. But that is all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. This is like the Disney, isn't it, like right over here? Oh my god, I can't. Stay gravy, baby.